Students, I would like to thank you for submitting your online homework number 1. I have seen fantastic grades so far. However, I noticed that some of you are having a little bit of difficulty applying this new concept. Reflexive verbs. This new concept was introduced last week in class, and I do hope that after watching this tutorial you will be able to remember and reflect upon the things that you need to do better when you conjugate reflexive verbs. I'm going to briefly show you how to conjugate the verb lavarse in the present indicative. If you remember the steps that we talked in class, it will be easier for you as you master this new category of verbs. Lavarse is a reflexive verb because it has an SE ending. Therefore, you already know you're going to have to use your reflexive pronouns in the conjugation process. The reflexive pronouns that I'm referring to are me, te, se, nos, os, and se. Ladies and gentlemen, you must use the reflexive pronouns in the conjugation process. Otherwise, if you're conjugating a reflexive verb without the reflexive pronoun, that answer is going to be incorrect. And I know some of you have already experienced this in your online homework assignment. Okay, so I just want to make sure that we remember we must have the reflexive pronoun in front of the verb, and that's just a rule that it must not be broken. I also would like to take this opportunity to answer to the question that some of you have been able to ask via email. Can I use a subject pronoun in front of the reflexive verb? The answer to that question is yes, absolutely. Okay. Some examples that I'm going to provide are: yo me lavo las manos, tú te lavas las manos, él se lava las manos, and so forth. I do want to point something out very important in here. For the él, ella, usted form and for the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, okay, you definitely must use the proper subject, because otherwise I'm not quite sure who is performing the action if you don't specify who is actually doing the actions. Okay, ellos se lavan las manos. Let's make sure we remember this. In this example that I'm highlighting right now, you may notice in some situations that people would leave the yo form out. Now some of you might say, well, is this correct? Indeed, this answer still is correct because the reflexive pronoun is letting us know who is performing the action. However, that doesn't apply if I do this on this sentence. If I just have something like se lava las manos, right? The question is, well, at this time I'm not really quite sure who is performing the action. And how is that possible? Well, because se lava las, the reflexive pronoun se is utilized with 3 subject pronouns. Those subject pronouns are going to be él, ella, and usted. Okay, therefore I must know who is performing the action. That's why I have to include one of these subject pronouns in front of the conjugate, in front of the reflexive verb, in order for me to know who is doing what. That makes sense? I really hope it does make sense. The same is true for the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. I really hope this short tutorial or screencast have helped some of you, and if you still have questions after watching this screencast, please let me know, bring those to the class, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I will see you in class this week, and that will be all for now. Adios.